Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Townie Refresh build. Today, I am doing the Goth family home, and this one, I don't know, I thought about doing a couple things with it, but I decided to stick with a classic and do this build. So, um, I am very excited to show you what I came up with, and I do hope that you guys enjoy this one. I am a big fan of the Goth family. So I wanted to do a I wanted to do the build as a nice Victorian home. However, that being said, I had a viewer comment about doing a modern home. And I love the idea. After taking a look at some various things, I decided to do the Victorian for this build because this is base game only, and wait and do a modern version of this home at a later date. Not too far in the future, I promise, because I'm actually very excited to do a modern version of this. But I found some really cool modern Victorian homes that I wanted to base it off of. And Windows wise, we just didn't have anything in the base game that would do these homes justice. So look for that later. Because yes, I am doing that. It was an amazing suggestion. I forgot to write down who suggested that, but if it was you, comment below. But anyway, so first of all, I do want to say that this build, just the shell, took a long time. Right now in the speed build, my little timeline is telling me it's 10 minutes just to show you the speed build. So that's just for the shell. That's not me decorating. It is me doing the outside, but no decorating or any of that. So it took a little while. This is another longer video. Not one of my longest, but a longer one. So hopefully you've already gotten your popcorn and your drink and have settled in, because yeah, these are longer videos. I do want to remind you guys I am moving in a couple of weeks now. And honestly, I literally finished this one up this morning and I'm recording the voiceover at night. And yeah, I haven't even finished the build I was working on for this coming Friday as of recording this. I'm going to be working on that after the recording and probably tomorrow morning, just to get the build done. But I'm going to try to do some smaller builds. After this build, we are moving on to Oasis Springs. So I did leave a comment asking who you guys may want me to do first. If I don't get any response, I'll probably be doing Johnny Zest. Just because it's a small build. But if you guys want me to start with somebody else, let me know in the comments below as well. All right. But yeah, I'm hoping not to have to take any breaks. But they may be smaller builds that you're gonna see from me for just a couple weeks. I am taking like the whole week of my move off. I'm not moving very far. But I have to, clean the apartment, all that stuff. I'm now hiring movers, so that'll help a little bit too. However, after I move, you may see some more extravagant type builds. That is probably when I'll tackle the land grab home. So, all right. So anyway, As I said earlier, I wanted this to be a more standard Victorian, but better than what they had. Um, Not that the build was horrible, but it could have been so much better. They're supposed to be wealthy and, aristocratic. So I kind of went with that theme a little bit. Now, that being said, I changed the look of this house quite a bit, which is why I want to say I spent probably 3 or 4 days just working on the shell of this. And usually I record anywhere from 2 to 3 hours a day. It may have been a little more than that. But yeah, this took me a while to really get down and like. And it was funny because once again, I got this kind of done up. I was like, okay, I like where the roofs is. I like how right here this kind of looked. I like that idea. And I go into the, main menu to load into the game to build some more. And I look at this house and go, nope, nope, it doesn't look good from the back. Because you see the back of the house in the world map view. So, that led to some changes eventually that you will see, some additions, and I'm happy I did that. I need to start doing that on more of these, at least larger builds, and that are standing out more on the map to make sure they also look good there. But it actually added, a whole nother room. Got me out of the, rectangular thing I had going on in the back here. And yeah, I really like the finished product. So if you're a builder and you're kind of noticing that your builds kind of look weird, check the map. See how they look from that, because sometimes that can inspire you to change something you wouldn't have even thought of. It did for me. So the other thing with this is it's all base game. So I had limited window options, which is why this isn't a modern build. And I think I managed to make it look good enough. At least when it comes to the windows. They're not my favorite, but they work. They are a Victorian type window. It's not crazy to use them in this build. But I really hate that the black frame is only on the outside. So to be honest, like, I will be putting this into my own, one of my own files. I don't know if it's going to go into what I'm making my base game file I've talked about before, that I'm going to use for lots of different gameplay. That might be held off for the modern one. I'll have to see which one I like better once the modern version is done. But I'm definitely going to have this as something I'll put into the game, at least for now. So I probably will change those windows to something that's not base game. But as I said, this save file is going to eventually be available to you. Not anytime soon, sorry. But once I get a good amount of it done, it depends on how far I go with it. If I end up stopping, I will make the save file available with maybe some gallery stuff thrown in. We'll see. But we'll also see if I get it done before the new game comes out, because, it's possible. I am looking at trying to do other things in the world. So the other homes, that type of thing, not just the townies. So this could be a labor of love that goes beyond, when the new game comes out. So, yeah. So anyway, here I decided to play more with this room. I wanted this to be a point, which meant it had to be a square. So I had to play around with the roof quite a bit, change some things to get it to be a square so I could make it this pretty point and create the look I was going for. I love this room though. It's perfect. It adds that finishing touch to this design that made me finally go, okay, I think I'm ready to start decorating and leaving the build alone. Now, that being said, I think I still play a little bit with a few things, um, but most of it stays almost the same as you see it now, except for that fence. That fence goes away toward the end, which I put it up and knew I wasn't going to keep it, but I just didn't delete it then. so, so yeah. All right, so inside, there's a lot of red. We're channeling Miss Bella, and there's lots of red. Part of that is because there's not a lot that's really, screams to me that dark gothic vibe in the base game. There's some. I'm not going to say there's nothing. There is some. So, what I tried to do with this was stick with reds, gray, um, bluish colors, like darker blue. Um, but it's mostly like red and gray. And I think it turned out really well. In fact, this gray wallpaper made me think of Pugsley from the Addams Family. So I thought it was fitting. So yeah, as you can see here, I'm still playing a little bit with the house. Little things like this. that's that's what happens when I start looking at things as I decorate. It changes. I do believe I saved a copy of this as a shell. Of course, there's still the little updates that wouldn't be there. However, if I didn't and you want to download this and decorate it yourself, just download it without the furnishings. I think the wallpaper still shows up, but yeah, it'll have no furnishings. And should have the landscaping too, where the shells don't. But so the dining room, I really wasn't sure what chairs I wanted to put there, if you couldn't tell. I wanted this to be fancy, okay? I also wanted it to be dark and not something that was light and airy and bright. Um, so most of this house is dark, lots of blacks, and it fits the theme. It's the Goth family. I also do want to say I use a lot of artwork from the gallery eventually. And again, if you don't know that trick, hop on the gallery, search the hashtag NoCCArt, and you'll get a whole bunch of artwork that you can actually upload your builds with that won't come up as custom content. So I've been doing that. I found quite a few things that I've saved to my library. So you may start seeing some of these paintings used over and over again. But really, it's just, there's not a lot in the base game that really works, especially with this type of home. So I kind of pulled these older looking paintings out. They don't necessarily match the color scheme, but it's still something they might own. Um, And yeah, that's why I ended up putting, gallery artwork in. I really do need to sit down after my move and, get some artwork that I've created up and into my library and probably the gallery as well. Um, I don't think I saved the sim that I had that ran an art gallery at one point and, painted herself, did all the paintings herself. Um, if I did save her, I will pull her out and have her do that. If not, I will probably cheat somebody with that talent just to do that. And what I like to do is just take them around the world and paint, from perspective or however that's actually worded in the game. Um, so you can paint some cool views. I did a lot on Sulani with her because it was, winter and cold, and I wanted to feel some tropical vibes. Yeah. Where now I'm looking at 85 degrees here in Nashville, and I'm sitting in the air conditioning. I'm just saying. Okay. All right. So the living room, as you can see, I'm kind of going the gray, red. Most of this house has that theme of gray, red. I didn't want it to be really dark. I wanted there to be some, brightness to it. I thought the painting of the piano player was pretty fitting considering. Um, as I said, we didn't have anything that was more goth like. Now, vampires, if you have that pack and feel the need to replace anything in this build, have at it. Because yeah, that pack alone would be amazing to have right now. I did this to myself. Okay, I did. All right. So the other thing is, as I've said before, if you're new to this channel, I am purposely trying to leave some space in these builds, not like obvious space, but some space where you could add things from other packs um, easily. I don't want you to get in this and feel like, oh, I have to add something. So they are pretty well decorated. I will say I didn't do a lot with this kitchen. And I don't know. I guess in my mind, they don't cook. I don't know. I don't know why I kept thinking that, but I'm like, they don't cook. They just have a nice kitchen. um, but normally I do decorate it up a little bit and then allow you to add to it if you have other packs. Um, that is something that will be in all these builds, and I do it on purpose so that you can add some of your own style to it without feeling like you have to build. And that's mostly because these are base game only, or as I continue, they'll be whatever game pack and base game. So I wanna keep it where you can use the worlds as the worlds that you have without worrying about all these other packs coming into play. So as you can see, I did struggle a little bit with this kitchen and figuring out how I wanted to do things. I changed my mind quite a few times, but in the end, it does come together and it looks pretty cool. So I'm happy with it. I also did the counters with the white top because the black it was too much. It was too much black. You couldn't see anything. So that's the other thing with this game. It's hard to do complete black. That being said, you will see a almost complete black room later on. Guess whose it is? Anyway, I'm not telling you right now. You'll find out later. All right. So yeah, I didn't want to go too crazy with, let's do everything black or let's do everything red. So I wanted to mix it up a little bit just to create some interest, and hopefully it's easier to play in because, the whole point of these builds and the whole point of me making these builds is so that you can download them and play in them. If you want to. You can also just download them and have them in your game for other sim families that you don't play. That will be how I use this one. At least for now. All right. So you can see there, I went on the gallery, pulled out a whole bunch of different artwork, which definitely made the build so much better. I will be doing more of that, and I've said that before. So, yeah. So I created this little back room, and I didn't know what I was going to do with it. So really, I just made it kind of a catch-all room. So we've got our little coat rack there. And, I use this flower rug a lot, just a warning, but it works and it's pretty. Okay. At least I think it's pretty. But anyway, so this is, as I said, a catch-all room. So I put lockers in there. I thought that was kind of fun. Sided windows. It needed more windows. And just, I don't know, put some stuff in there. And I really had no idea what I was going to do with it. I just knew I liked the idea of the office having two doors. One is a back door that leads out to the backyard. So, kind of. So that's why that room was really there. I don't know. It's like an escape door. I debated about putting in like a bookshelf door so that it looked like there was a bookshelf, but I didn't. I should. I might change that on my build. You can change it too. Or I might just change it before I upload it because I haven't done that yet. All right. So the other thing is curtains. All right, guys, curtains in the base game. We've been through this. They're not great. But I definitely wanted to make sure I had curtains on the main floor and some on the rest of them. I did leave a couple of windows without curtains. It's done on purpose. It was getting to be a lot. And I wanted the light in because when you put the curtains up, it does dim the light a little bit. So there's like a open area upstairs that looks down over, the entry area. That area doesn't have curtains on all the windows. And then up top, the rooms on the third and fourth floor do not have curtains on the windows either. I just kind of think, why would you want them? But it'll also make sense as you see what I put in them as well. So, the other thing is I did go through and make sure all of that artwork I downloaded from the gallery have frames. So they are all framed. Now, my pictures at the end will not reflect that. Some of them were framed before I took those pictures because I had to play test and add some money to the Goth family's funds because they're not as wealthy as I wanted them to be. So I framed some of them there, and then I added more later on. So those aren't framed in the pictures, but they will be in the upload. I promise. So the office, I did put in a computer. Mostly because Mortimer is supposed to be a writer, and in The Sims, to really be able to be a writer, you have to have a computer. So I put one here. I originally was not going to put a computer in this office. There are electronics. They're hidden, except for that one. Just saying. So you'll see those later. So yeah. If you don't know that lore, go look it up. Go look it up. All right. So here's that little kind of, I don't know, area up top. Here I put a piano for Cassandra. And, we have a chess table there. I thought that was fitting. And just kind of made this a nice little, area. Um, another bookshelf. Lots of bookshelves in this build, by the way. And it's mostly that one um, because I like it. It fits the best with this style. Um, but we're gonna say they read a lot of books. They don't use electronics and watch TV and all that stuff. I mean, really, in reality, most of the time the Sims don't anyway. Or at least not TV. Though I've noticed that has increased a little bit. Not sure what's up with that. But yeah. Radios, on the other hand, they love music. All right, so moving on to the bedroom, or the bedrooms, I should say. This one is for Alexander Goth. And I created this from the mindset of he's maybe, 6, 7, somewhere in there. Because he still has a good amount of time when you load into this family. So it's kind of that transitional type room where he's moving from being a kid, like a young kid, to a older kid. So we've got the dinosaur, fluffy thing, and it's a toy. I know what it is. And you know, some other things here, and he's just in that transition period. So if it looks a little bit of a mess, it's supposed to look that way. Now, that being said, I'm not thrilled with it. But with base game only, that's pretty much the best I could do. I would have liked to have, a few more options for things, but I think it ended up pretty good being, what I had to work with. And there's a few little things in there that kind of, scream, what the heck is, this kid isn't quite normal. And that was the point. I was kind of channeling Pugsley from the Addams Family, but not really. So this one is Miss Cassandra Goth's room, and this is the almost all black room. And I will say that looking at this video, it looks a heck of a lot lighter in here than it did when I was building it. It was almost pitch black. I couldn't see very well in here at all. So I'm happy that you guys can kind of see what I'm doing. So unfortunately, I didn't love any of the black beds, but I absolutely love this bed. And you get that from the artist career. So we're going to say Bella got it. Okay. Somebody got it. They have their ways. But I love that it's got kind of that Starry Night comforter and just this cool vibe to it that I think was perfect for a goth teen. At least for base game only stuff. I'd probably use it in a goth teen room anyway. The other thing, I put the cool little piano picture behind it with the curtains. This rose rug again, as I said, it's used quite a bit. But I think this turned out really cool being pretty much an all black room. Now the floor I kept as a brown, but everything else is pretty much all black. So now moving on to the master, and this one I really wasn't sure at first how I wanted to decorate this because I wanted it to reflect the blacks, the reds, the grays, but not necessarily be all red. But you can see, I play with it. So here I'm playing with some different things to see if I like the paneling like that or what I want to do there. I finally settled on doing the gray and then doing this black and gray and white comforter bed. I do really like how this room does turn out eventually. Um, it's a big room, so I put a cute little seating area here. Played with that a little bit, wasn't sure what I wanted to do there. Um, and then just kind of sat here. I'll be honest, I paused the recording for a little while and just stared at this room for probably like 10 minutes, trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And then finally just gave up trying to get stuff into this space here and said, you know what? I'm putting up curtains. I'm going to leave it. And it looks fine. I think less was more in this case. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Again, here I go putting up more, artwork and stuff. Or at least looking for it. I do end up finding some eventually and putting it up. I think there I kind of glanced and went, I think at one point the gallery was not giving me options. So that was probably I worked on it in the morning and the gallery didn't seem to want to search correctly. So this is all probably what I worked on last night to get some of this finished up. So yeah. I don't know what was up with the gallery. It didn't like me. Okay. So this is the only bathroom that I show actually putting together. The rest of them don't. They're not anything fancy, but I do like to show the master bedrooms or master bathrooms. I also want to say I don't show building the closet because I didn't realize until the end, where I'd stopped recording, etc., that I didn't put in the closet stuff. So it's not a big deal. I really just hang some clothes in it. We have some base game debug ones that I thought were fancy enough to be in a goth home. So that it wasn't anything major. But that's why that room is empty. It's supposed to be a closet. So just doing a small little bit too here on this patio area. I didn't want it to be crazy. So did a little bit there, left it at that. There's not a whole lot. It's just a nice little spot they can go sit and be alone. They can lock people out of it. So here is where your electronics come into play. And this clock. I'm gonna start using these clocks. I completely forgot that these clocks existed. I sometimes wish that I would record my face when I build these because my jaw just like dropped and I went, oh, I forgot about these and got very excited. So I was amused by myself. I mean, it happens. So you will be seeing those in more builds. I'm just saying. I was very excited about, the grandfather clocks and all the other clocks. There's a couple of clocks in here now. Just saying. Forewarning. Lots of clocks. So here, as you can see, I kind of created this big room. I intended originally for it to stay open, but decided there was too much space now. So I closed that little room off there and move the all, kind of desk area, study area I was creating out here where the TV is. It's fine. It's really like an area for the kids. So it's not like a big thing. Of course, if they do want to watch TV, they're coming up here to watch TV. So, yeah. Added in more of the gallery artwork and just kind of trying to create a little bit of a cozy vibe, bring in some of the nature since we don't have windows in this room. And then here, I just put in a little bit of gym equipment. That was it. It's just something had to go there, and I thought gym equipment would work well. So I also put in this sugar skull shelf because, it fits. They're the Goths. And up here is the art studio area. Now, this isn't as extravagant as the art studio that I put into the Spencer Kim Lewis build. If you haven't seen that, make sure to check that one out. But it is a small little art studio. Oh, and then for those who are wondering, I did upload that studio as a room. It's on my gallery. In case you want it. All right. So I also didn't put anything in this top tower floor. I decorated it, but I didn't put anything in it. If you want to put a ladder up to that, have at it. I did not. So here I wanted to make the yard a little bigger because I realized that this isn't a very big lot, and it made me sad because I had plans for the outside. The outside of the original build was missing something that was very important, and it has always made me very sad. So I decided that it was about time to give the Goths their cemetery back. So they have it. I like it. I think it turned out cute. I did leave room, so if you actually want to play as them and continue their family on, you can move them into the cemetery as they pass. And take these out. I mean, these are just standard debug headstones, but they have their cemetery back, and I am happy. And that is one of the main reasons this build will go into my game. Even with the modern one, I'm gonna try to go ahead and put a cemetery in, so don't be surprised. Or, maybe you've already watched it and you're from the future and you're back here going, yeah, it has a cemetery. I don't know. I've been working all day at my day job. It's Friday. I'm done. So of course I had to add the cow plant. More lore, just saying. For those who might not know. So added in the cow plant in our greenhouse, and of course, all the fun stuff to plant in. I was gonna put a couple plants in there, but I decided not to. You can do that. Now just adding in my lighting as usual. And realizing I screwed up and made that fence too long. And then forgot that I needed to put stairs in. I fixed it. Okay. Mm-hmm. These things happen. But it's okay, because I actually end up making this graveyard better, in my opinion. Because this is where I kind of expand it more and allow you to put more dead people in it. It works. All right, so now just kind of finishing touches, adding in a little more terrain paint, and then a little bit more landscaping. I don't do a lot with this, mostly because I just didn't think it needed it. The house is the focal point, but it had to have something. So I did add in some landscaping. Really played with the trees. I think I tried like 8 trees to figure out what I liked there. Um, Bushes, couple of different versions of these, just because I couldn't get them to fit right with having already brought up the foundation, because I didn't think. All right, so we are coming up on the end of this build, and I really want to say that this one was a labor of love that I really enjoyed. Um, as I said, I'm looking forward to doing the modern version. It'll probably be at least a month before you see it. So, but yeah, right now we've got this version. I did go through and do the ceilings a little bit. Like, they're all the same. It's all just a darker color. But yeah. All right, I'm gonna let you guys enjoy the photos, and I'll be back. All right, I do hope you enjoyed this build. If you did, please give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. I am posting these Townie Refresh videos every Tuesday, and then Fridays are just other build videos. Some of them are involved in the Refresh series, but are not Townie homes, so they don't count for Tuesday videos. All right, guys, I do hope you had a wonderful day, and I will see you on Friday. Bye now.